Right, it's West Pacific Market Analytics wrapping up my day here on Wednesday. And what a great day it was, I'll tell you. There is so much opportunity ahead for all of us. And I've been talking to my members about this. There's just no need to try and play options anymore with all this leverage that we can play in the ETFs. We don't have to deal with time expiration, and it's just going to be such a better way to deal with this. So I've set up the layout, and it's going to consist of about 5 models we'll be watching over on the Discord site. And again, my Discord membership site is destinytrading@gmail.com. If you want to send me an email, I'll send you out some information on what we do. And I'll tell you, it's been a long road. As I told you, I've been working on this thing I call the Stream Project for, believe it or not, over 15 years. And that's after retiring from trading for many, many years. I was very, very active in my youth as a trader back in the days on Silicon Investor and places like that in the 90s. And we had a lot of fun. And it was great back in those days. We really did well, and I made great money with my company. And that was another time. And I retired too soon. It's a long story. And 15 years ago, I decided I want to come up with a whole new way using physics in a hybrid-based system to come up with the ultimate way to trade markets. And I'll tell you, it's been a heck of a long road. And I'll maybe do a video about it one day. I mean, you try and do it. The process is excruciating long. And it's so much more complex and difficult than most people can even imagine. Nobody would even arrive. And it's just been absolutely, I want to throw in the towel so many times. I've had so many great people that have pushed me onward. And I've made so many mistakes. I mean, we were getting really good back around 2000, 2001, but it's still, 2020, 2021, but it still was making, it was all there, but we didn't understand the rules. And even the last year, we still were making mistakes with it, even though it was getting better and better. And it's there. In the last month, it's all come together 100%. In understanding the rules, the back testing, the understanding, the push-pull effects of momentum, the way it all had to work, it's there. And what a long road it's been. But you know what? Without the failures, I never would be here. It wouldn't have been possible to do this. It would never have ever been able to happen without the failures. So let's not talk too much about that. Let's just get into what we're going to be doing here. Here's the disclaimer. At West Pacific Market Analytics, please always do your homework and research. And this is for entertainment and educational purposes only. And then let's look at it. So here's what we're going to be doing here. Where do we got this? Yeah, right here, trades. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to have 5 models. So we're looking at the NVDA short trade here, the leverage trade. But let's just start by looking at NVDA first. And let me explain this to you real quickly. I don't want to take too long here. You'll notice NVIDIA here back in September, October, November, December of 2024. You see the velocity here. And again, I've talked to you about the measurement of velocity. And this is all the back testing of trying to understand everything. Okay, so when we look at the big picture velocity, we can see the trend was rising here. And then at this point, the trend was up here, and then velocity starts to drain. So what we're measuring in this velocity is we're actually measuring the velocity of the capital flows. So what this is saying is we started to see selling here in NVIDIA, all the way back in November, December. Now remember, they don't want the price just to drop. So they need to support the price, and it's going to take time for it to drain. Now, I don't think they realize that's what's happening, but that is how the model is able to read all of that kind of stuff that happens within stock trading. And so what was hard to understand, you can see how, price is trading in the middle of it here. And so you're back in these days, you're thinking, can it go all the way back to the top? Well, look, it did. It went all the way back up. It had to go back up here. Or it could go back up here. It didn't necessarily have to, but, there it is. Can't go any higher. And you can see now that velocity is draining. And notice it even rolling over more right here. So the question became, how long does it take? And I showed a model about that. As the velocity drains, how long does it take until the gravitational pull, the graviton pull, which is a technical term in physics, begins to exert downward pressure on the trend. So at some point, the velocity is going to pull the trend down. That will happen. But the questions always become, in doing the backtesting, how far does it need to drain until it begins to yank down on the trend? And I don't think we have much more further to go here. I think we're in the window here, right down in here. And you can see price is just, we had another rally back up today because look, the trend's still above. So as long as the trend's above, you know, even though it's starting to break, price can still trade around within the trend. And then what's more important is we go to this last little rally. Because you see, coming out of this rally, you notice here how the velocity was draining. Now this is a more shorter term model, where the other one is the very much big picture model. And the shorter term, we can see these swings happening within the velocity and the trend. And you can see into the sell-off, it read it very, very well. And then we got down to the bottom of the trend here, and we still had the V channel above. And then the trend developed back up. The velocity came in after, and now you can see we're topping. So we're right up here. So we're going to have to see. How long does it take? You notice the trend. Let's pull up on this right here. So you can see the trend is starting to break away, but you can see the velocity is still capping over here. So it's going to buck around here, I think, for a few more weeks yet. It's going to go down, it's going to go up, it's going to be all over the place up here. But until it all rolls over, and there's something else I'll show you we're going to be looking at too, we're not going to short it. It's not going higher. If you own it, you want to be getting out. And what you want to do now is get ready to position to go short. You can see the signal. So let's look at this model here. Forget the back. Let's look at it right now. You can see here the signal's gone off. So you see we're now right here as of the middle of August, around August 11th. We're now on the right side of this signal. And you can see the trends breaking away. But you can see these spikes here. And this is when we're looking at what I call the gatekeeper model, and we'll talk more, you'll understand this more as we go forward. You can see how the flows are rising. So these are actual capital flows. So there's still flows coming in here, which, you know, because they keep playing the options and that, and they're playing all around with it. And you can see for now, we can hold price here at the gate at 164 because you see this little open signal here. It's kind of hard to see behind here, but you notice the trend, it opened up here, and once the trend opened up, we were able to come above the gate. So you see how we kind of were able to come above the gate a little bit back here and a little bit back here, but you notice how the whole V channel here is still coming down, and you see the V channel still down here, right? So price is going to come down here soon, ahead. But first, we've got to get this 164 to break. It's all going to have to roll over because you notice here how it's rolled over and then price drops. So notice here it's rising. So see how we're kind of pinching up into it. And then it breaks below into the channel and then down we come. But now here we're going down to dropping channel where the channel's below. So this is going to be faster. So it could be a great trade. But first this gate's got to open. This has got to roll over. It's going to take a month here yet. I think, you know, I mean, we're not going to go until it's ready. So then let's look at the actual short. So here's the short. I'm not going to talk right now about what we're looking at here. You may be able to figure it out because I put the price on it. But here's what we're going to be chasing as a short. And I'll tell you what this is once it gets ready. But there's no need right now because it's not ready. When it's ready, we'll talk about it because it's going to take a little more time because you can see I can now these things that's nice about these next two models is I can expedite out the curve. You notice we got a bull cross here, and you notice I can bring this curve and then it starts to form up. So the bottom of the momentum is down here around the beginning of October. So that tells me we're just going to buck around yet for a couple more weeks here into the end of September. You notice the gate on this particular short, we're trading about 951 today, and the gate is coming down into that time period. You see how it's going to start dropping down? And you notice that the gate here is closed. So in other words, you see this big trend that's still got to go and break out above. So until that happens, you can't get above the price of 12.14 on this short. So there's no need to be early. I don't care if I get the total bottom tick here. I just want to get in right here because on the other side, it's going to go way up. So there's a few more weeks setting up. Now we're going to be looking at others. Now you can see if I play around with this one, this is our velocity model. It's very interesting. You can see if I carry out the trend here into October, November, and December, you see how the trend is, you notice, look at it, I can carry that line out. These trends don't move too quickly in the velocity model. So you can see I can expolate that trend upward here. So you notice how rising trend is going to pull up on the price of this short soon. But it's not going to happen right away because you have to have both rising trend and you also have to have rising velocity. Now, what's interesting is notice if I form this cup on the velocity right here, you see I can take it down right into where it's at today and I can draw it. So that's saying we're going to see a bottom here in the short. We're going to be chasing our short right here, right around the 22nd. That's our target date. Right there between the 22nd and the 29th, we're going to go into this short. We're going to buy right there, and then it's going to cross over here into the momentum, and it's going to start to rise. Because then we're going to have rise, because by the time it gets over, this will come into the low, because then we got rising trend, we got the low in velocity. Now we got rising velocity and rising trend. That's when you enter. So once we get in here, it's then going to work its way a little bit up and over, and then it's going to start rising. And the thing is, once you get the velocity and the trend above the dot curve, you notice we couldn't break out up here. Once we get the velocity and the trend above dot curve, price can rise above here. So around the middle of November, price here on this will be above 1573, and we're looking to enter at about 9. So we can double our money here within a period of about 2 months. And then it's going to go higher. So that's what I'm looking at. Now I'm going to be laying this out. My idea is we talked about this over on our member site on Discord. I was having a discussion with some of my key members, and we said, why are we playing around with playing options and the SPYs and the Qs that's controlled by just a few stocks? Let's pick one or two of those stocks that look like they have the most profit opportunity. Let's not deal with the time expiration of options. Let's use the model to pick our entry and then just kick back and let it make us money and not have to deal with the headaches of time expiration. And so what we're going to do is we're going to set up all these models on these new leverage. There's all these new leverage ETFs now for some very good stocks in the technology sector. And there's also some, of course, like FNGD, for instance, that's a combo of the FANG. We're going to probably look at that too. It might not be, the combo of the FANG may not be as profitable as just playing the short here on NVDA or one of the others. And then we're also going to, as I've told you, I think we're going to have a major top in gold, and there's going to be some huge opportunities to the downside there. So there's some really good plays that you can also use to short gold and silver, and we're going to be developing all those models as well, and we're going to be fishing for trades within that once it tops out. Now, it hasn't topped out yet. As I told you, there's room in gold up to 4,100, and let's let it do its thing and top out, but we're going to be prepared for that. And then I also want to take all the crypto plays. They've come out with all these nice XRP, Solana, ETH. They've come out with these leverage plays, not only long, but short in those. So I want to focus on those 4 new areas where they've got these leverage shorts in the ETFs. And again, even there, we don't have to play with the time erosion. And then what we'll do is we'll just simply ride these shorts until they top out, and then we'll switch around and we'll go long. Right? We'll go long NVIDIA, we'll go long crypto, we'll go long ETH once the trade's finished. So we're setting this up, okay? We'd like to be part of it because obviously I would like to drive people over to join our community on Discord, but first I got to prove myself, and I'm willing to do that. I'm willing to make you some money, and it's not just that, but I'd like to help some of you out there. It's hard times right now, and it'd be great if we can help it, especially some of you younger individuals that might follow me, that you need that right now to pay your bills. I've got young kids. It's expensive out there. Food's expensive. Everything's expensive. And this way you're not going to be getting in. I talk to too many people that are just been burned too much. And I don't want to see people get burned anymore. I really don't. I want to help people make some profits. You're going to need it ahead. And know that you can look at a trading model to where we can get our accuracies a lot higher on the percentiles. And that's the idea. So let's chase it. Let's not waste too much time here. Join in. And let's start. I'm going to do another video. I just want to do this quick morning coffee, introduce what we're going to be doing here. And then we'll be looking at some other ones. I've got to develop those out. I've already started on them. I want to develop them out here over the next week or so. And it's a new direction we're going to take over on my channel. We're going to do it totally different now. We're going to get out of trying to play SPY, QQQ options and do something totally different. I'll talk to you soon. Thanks for tuning in. Glenn out.